Hi, I'm Art Adams, product specialist for cinema lenses at ARRI Americas. This is a short tour of New York City as seen through our most extreme signature zooms, the 16-32 and the 65-300. My assistant and I used only an Alexa 35 camera, a short slider, and some Apple boxes to capture these images. I hope you enjoy the show. I don't normally zoom in my work as a cinematographer, but I realized that if I didn't, you might not believe that I was using zooms. I probably wouldn't. So that's the reason why this video will feel like a short visit to the 1970s. The 65-300 zoom really shows its stuff when zooming into a face. It's a great close-up lens. Signature lenses, both primes and zooms, excel at rendering skin beautifully. And I'm not joking when I say that they intercut perfectly. Signature zooms look great edge to edge, and they stay that way all through the zoom range. But if you'd like to soften the edges, you can add an impression filter. This shot was captured through a positive impression filter. The look is a little softer at the point of focus, and I can see a smearing effect in the leaves and fencing at the edges of the frame. The native signature look is quite beautiful, so it's also okay to shoot through nothing at all. The 16-32 zoom is special, but it's not necessarily a specialty lens. I'm happy to use it for both wide shots and close-ups, and there's no reason I wouldn't use it for an entire scene. It flares beautifully, much like a prime lens would, and the flare is isolated to one area, so it doesn't wash out the entire frame. The 16-32 is incredibly rectilinear. Lines at the edge of the frame don't bend, and faces don't distort. For such a wide lens, it looks extremely natural. It's rare that super wide and super long zooms intercut perfectly, but that's exactly what I see here. Signatures are great at focusing your attention on a single subject. They roll out of focus so smoothly that it's always obvious where your eye should go. Unlike a lot of other zooms, signatures capture detail that's not too sharp and not too soft. It just feels natural. These lenses don't draw attention to themselves. This is especially obvious when you reach the end of the zoom and the exposure doesn't change at all. Sometimes I find myself wowed by simple shots like this. The textures in the image come through very naturally and don't feel artificially sharp at all. It's funny, but I had to remind myself that I could, in fact, zoom, because I kept forgetting that I was using zooms. The way they roll out of focus, the way they flare, the way they don't breathe, there was nothing visually obvious to remind me that I was using zooms. And if I'm working at the end of the zoom at sunset, I don't lose any exposure between wide shots and tight shots. That's gold. Using these two zooms together was a lot of fun because they look so similar. Here's the 65-300, and this is the 16-32 zoom, and back to the 65-300 zoom again. They intercut perfectly. The nice thing about shooting in New York is that you can go almost anywhere and no one cares. We took our Alexa 35 to Times Square and grabbed a 360-degree shot with the 16-32 zoom, lit entirely by digital billboards. The results are pretty cool. hope you enjoyed my 1970s style tour of New York. If I can ever help with anything related to ARRI lenses, please contact me at lenses@arri.com. And thanks for watching.